Hello students, hope you all are doing great. I'm Achal Chaudhary working as an assistant professor in management department. Today I'm going to share an online video on principles of management. If you haven't seen my previous videos, then please check them once as this video is linked up with the previous videos and this video will not be helpful if you haven't seen my previous videos. And link of the previous videos has been given in the description below. Please check them once. If you want the PDF notes of any video, then you can mail me regarding the same. My mail ID has been mentioned in the description of this channel. So students, it's your lecture number 19 of Principles of Management. And this will be your last lecture. I have covered all of the topics related to this subject. So in previous lecture we have covered meaning of objective, advantages of objective, goal setting, management by objective and process of MBO. And today we are going to start with the decision making, process of decision making, types of decisions, techniques of decision making, and last topic will be group decision making and its technique. So let's start with today's lecture. Let us start with the understanding of decision making. What is decision making? We have heard this statement many times that it is helpful for the decision making. We are going to make a decision. But what exactly is decision making? So it's a must for all managerial functions. In other words, you can say decision making is planning is as important as in organization, coordination and control, because in each of these functions the manager has to choose from among a number of alternative courses of action. So decision making is finding out like which course of action will be more beneficial, more suitable to the organization for the organization, and which alternative will be the best suitable for the organization. So while you are identifying the best alternatives available to you and selecting that best alternative is your decision making. You are deciding, you are going to stick towards a one alternative only. That is your decision making. While you are just going through all the pros and cons of the all of the alternatives which are available to you, and after going through all the cost and all the benefits which can be occurred from that particular alternative, whatever you are going to decide, whichever alternative you are going to decide in your decision, that will be your decision making. So a manager is responsible for decision making in any organization because they have that certain experience, they have a knowledge where they can ensure that whatever the decision they are going to take, so that will be the beneficial, that will be the best for the organization, that will be best suitable for the organization. So this is your decision making. Nature of decision making. What are the features of decision making? First is goal oriented process. Decision making is a goal oriented process as it aims at achieving certain specific goals of the organization. Why do we need decision making? We need it to take the decision to achieve certain specific goals. So first ultimate aim of the each and every organization is to achieve their objectives, to achieve the goals of the organization. So it helps in achieving the goal of the organization. It is goal oriented process. Next is selection process. So decision making is a selection process as there are many alternatives available in the market. Company have so many of the alternatives available with them. So deciding the best alternative and choosing the best alternative among them, it's your decision making. So it's a selection process. Then next is continuous process. Once a decision is taken, then it is not sure that it will be carry on further. Like एक बार आपने कोई ऑल्टरनेट सेलेक्ट किया, सो इट्स नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट कि वो सेम ऑल्टरनेट आपकी हर सिचुएशन में लाई करेगा, और दैट पर्टिकुलर ऑल्टरनेट विल हेल्प यू इन अचीविंग ऑल काइंड ऑफ ऑब्जेक्टिव. So many times it has been seen that many of the organization works as a you can say works on a multiple purpose, works on the multiple projects. So for that thing also they require decision making again and again. So it's kind of a continuous process. Once you have taken decision for a particular situation or for a particular project, then after that you have to take another decision for another you can say process. Next is positive as well as negative. Yeah, it's a positive as well as negative process, because whenever you are going to select choosing the any alternative among all the present alternative, that will be your positive thing, because you are selecting something. And when you are declining something, when you are not selecting some sort of decision, some sort of alternative, so it will be your negative process. And next is your future course of action. So whenever you are making the decision, so you are not making the decision, you are not taking any kind of decision for the present only, you take decision for the future perspective also. So here future course of action is being main focused while deciding something, while making the decision. Next is your decision making process. So these are the steps which are involved in decision making process. So first step is identification of the purpose of the decision. So first of all, you have to identify the purpose behind the decision. Why you are going to take such decision? What is the need for such decision? So first of all, you have to go through the problem thoroughly so that you can understand what exactly the purpose of those studies which you are going to do in your next step you are going in future, and what is the purpose behind it. For that you are going to make a decision. So first thing what you have to find out here is what exactly is the problem, why the problem should be solved, why you need to solve that problem. So you should have the answers of these type of questions first. Then after deciding, after understanding the purpose of the decision, next step is information gathering. Once all the information you are having, once all the you can say purpose you are having, objective you are having, then next thing what you have to do is you have to gather some information regarding those things, like regarding those problems which you are currently facing, for which you are going to make the decision. So you have to gather the information regarding it, so that you can be you that will be easy for you to solve that problem and to have the answers of that particular problem. Then after that, next step is principles for judging alternatives. So it's a kind of a baseline criteria for judging the alternatives that should be set up. When it comes to defining the criteria, organizational goal as well as corporate culture should be taken into consideration. So now what you have to do is you have to decide, like, what will be the exact alternatives available to you, what is the criteria to identify, to judge the alternatives which are available to you. Next is brainstorm and analyze the different choices. Next step is to analyze all the choices, all the alternatives which are available to you. You have to go through them thoroughly, you have to understand them, you have to understand their, or you can say merit demerits of each and every alternatives which is available to you. Then only you can analyze, you can judge that alternatives particularly. So here what you have to do is you have to list down all the ideas is the best option. First of all, you have to do that. Then before the idea generation step, it is important to understand the cause of the problem and prioritize that cause. So you have to find out the cause and effect relationship of each and every alternative. You have to go through them thoroughly. You have to understand each and every alternative briefly. Then next, after understanding all the different choices, what you have to do is you have to evaluate the alternatives. Like, if you are going to choose which particular, suppose you are going to choose a particular object, a particular alternative, so what will be the benefit from that alternative, what will be the cause or effect of that particular alternative on your organizational objective. So you have to evaluate all the things, you have to evaluate on the basis of your experience, you have to evaluate on the basis of its own effectiveness. Next, you have to select the best alternative. After going through the all the alternatives, after understanding all of them in detail, next is you have to select the best alternative which will be best suited for your organization. You have to select it. Then after selecting the best alternative, what you have to do is now you have to execute the decision. So convert your decision into a plan or a sequence of activities so that it can be performed. Now you have to execute your plan by yourself or with the help of the subordinates. In last step is evaluate the result. So whatever the decision you have taken, so now you have to analyze like what is the impact of that particular decision. Is there any changes which you have to make in your decision? Is there any or if that decision is harming your organization adversely, so what you have to do next? So you have to evaluate now, you have to evaluate what is the exact result of that particular decision. कहीं ये किसी भी particular process को harm तो नहीं कर रहा है. So you have to find it out now. Types of decision. First is organizational and personal decision. So, as the name signifies, the organization decision is something related to organization and its working of the organization, right? And personal decision, which is taken for the personal things, which is taken for the personal life, right? So, when a particular decision has been taken by a person as an executive of an organization, such decision may be considered as the organizational decision. The impact of such decision can be felt on the working of the entire organization. So these kind of decisions have their impact on the overall organization, on the working of the organization itself. But when we talk about the personal decision, it's an executive can also take a decision that is related with himself when you are taking some decision related to your personal life. So such decisions are known as your personal decisions when you are looking for your personal reason, when you are deciding something for your personal life. Next is routine and strategic decision. Routine decisions are related to your day-to-day affairs, whereas strategic decisions are related to something important, which is critical in nature. So, the routine decisions have to be made periodically, and therefore, there are certain established procedures, policies, and rules regarding these decisions. So, the routine decisions have to be made regarding day-to-day affairs of the organization. Like you have to manage the day-to-day organizational affairs. For that particular, you are taking the decisions like you are arranging the you can say stationery for the organization. You are also giving some like taking some decisions regarding your miscellaneous expenses which can occur on your day-to-day life, day-to-day affairs of the organization. So these are your routine decisions, means it's not very critical, it can be taken by the employees or you can say it can be taken at the lower level management only. When we talk about the strategic decisions, so these are related with significant matters and therefore they have to be taken by the top level management of the organization, because these decisions are critical. Like it can be like whether you are deciding for the whether we should accept this particular project or not, whether we can accomplish this project within this frame which is given by the project holder or not. So this is your something strategic decision, so which is related to your you can say long term or which is related to some critical involvement of the decisions. Next is programmed and non-programmed decision. So program decision is something related to routine nature where there is no specific procedure which have to be followed in these decisions. Whereas you can say non-program decisions are not non-routine decisions, they are non-routine decisions, and also there is no you can say there is a specific procedures which we have to follow during taking these decisions, and also these will have impact on the long term you can say long term decision making. Next is policy and operating decisions. Policy decisions are related to deciding the policy of the organization, and operating decisions are relating to the operations of the organization. So the policy decisions are used for deciding the basic policies related with the organization. These decisions are taken by the top management of the organization, because policy is something which is decided by the top level management only. So the policies that have been decided by the top management also act as the basic basis for the operating decision. So your operating decision is something related or based on your policy decision only. Whereas we talk about the operating decision, these are less significant. They are related with the day-to-day operations of the organization, and the operative decisions are taken while keeping in view the policies that have been decided by the organization. Operational decisions like this will be the minimal working hours for the organization, for the employees of the organization. So like a person is not working for 8 hours, so it will have an impact on that. So the person should be working for 8 hours, so it should be ensured by your operational decisions. Next is your individual and group decisions. Whenever a decision is taken by individual person only, or you can say one person is involved in decision making, then it is said to be an individual decision, where there is a power of making decision lies with the one person only. And when a decision is taken by a whole group, or whether through a number of people, then it is considered as your group decisions. And last is your long term departmental and non economic decisions. So long term decisions are the related to the long term time period which requires your time, you can say decision regarding the purchasing of machinery. Like, okay, so that is your long term decision. You are deciding for a long period, like, because machinery will work for you at least for 10-12 years, so that machinery will be with you for 10 to 12 years. So that is your long term decision, where you are ensuring some long term assets when you are planning for those assets. When it is related to the non-economic decision, then non-economic decision when there is no monetary terms are involved in this, like you are talking about the values and moral behavior. So when you are ensuring in the organization regarding the values and moral behavior, then it is your related to non-economic decisions. Next is techniques of decision making. First, intuition. In case of decision making on the basis of intuition, the inner feelings of the person making the decisions are relied upon. In case decision is made by the person on the basis of his or her conscience, the person considers the problem, and then an answer to the problem appears in the mind of the person. So in intuition, what we do, we take the decisions which is based on our inner feeling, what we are feeling. Like this will be whenever many times you must have seen that we usually say that I'm having a feeling that this will happen to us. So this is your intuition, this is your inner feeling which is saying that this will going to happen to you, this will going to happen if you are going to take this decision. So many times decision making is based on the intuition, means whenever you are taking the decision which is based on the inner feeling, That is your intuition based decision making. Next is facts. It is generally believed that the decision made on the basis of facts are the best decisions. The reason is that decision that has been made on the basis of the facts is based on the factual data. So what happens in this, like whenever you are considering the factual data, you are going through the statistical data. So in that situation, the decision which you are making on the basis of that facts and figures, so that is known as your facts based decision making. It is more reliable because you are having a certain decision, you are having a you can say facts and proper facts and figures with you, on the basis of which you are going to make the decision. So it is one of the most reliable decision making. Next is experience. When you are going to make some certain decision which is based on your past experience, and now you are what you are doing, now you are making the decision based on your like past experience which is of similar kind. When you are facing some similar problem in your present also, then what you do, you take out that past decision making, past experience of yours which was successful, when you have made some decisions and that was proved to be as a successful decisions, so that you are applying in your present situation also, when the situation and when the problem is of same nature. That can be possible in that way only. Otherwise, if you want that you are having a prior experience related to your finance decision, but now you are going to apply it to your HR department also, HR for taking the HR decision also, then it's not one of the feasible decision making. It will be proved as a adverse decision making. So it should be based on the same factual data, same problem should be there, then only you can make the decision based on your past experiences. Next is consider opinion. So in that, what you do, you just take out the situation, you just take out the problem, and you discuss with the group of numbers which are available to you in your management, or you can say you can discuss it with your top level managers. So when a particular problem has been considered by a large number of persons, it may be appeared as logical and sound basis for making the decision. Because everyone has a different point of view. They are having a different ideas, they are having a different you can say point of view to consider the different situation. So that will be one of the best decision making, because now you what you are doing, you are not taking the decision entirely based on your thinking also. Now you are having lot of options with you, because every person thinks in a different scenario, everyone thinks in a different manner, so that will help you in your decision making. Next is operations research. When you have some particular information with you, when you have a particular problem with you, and on the basis of that, what you do, you are just going for some research based on the statistical data, historical data. So what you are doing, you are just researching on that particular problem, and based on that research, your decision is being made. So that is your operations research. And last topic of the day is group decision making. As I told you earlier, group decision making is when a decision is taken by the number of people, when there is involvement of two or more people in decision making. So the group decision making is the collective activity wherein several persons interact simultaneously to find out the solution to a given statement of a problem. So as I told you that it's a collective activity, it's a group activity where you are taking some decisions regarding to a problem, where you are finding out a solution of a problem collectively. Or you can say group decision making is a participatory process wherein multiple individuals work together to analyze the problem and find out the optimum solution out of the available set of alternatives. So it's a kind of a very convenient method for a management for the organization, and it is one of the useful decision making when the problem is quite critical, when you need some experienced decision making and experienced decisions. So in that situation, what you do, you just go for the group decision making so that you have a number of solutions with you, you have number of alternatives available with you. That is your group decision making. Techniques of group decision making. First is Delphi technique. Members with expertise and relevant information concerning an issue are selected to make the decision regarding that issue. Questionnaires are sent to the group members who record their answers in writing. So basically in this what happens that you create a questionnaire based on your problem and you send to the group of members where they have to write their answers, and the group members don't meet face to face, they don't know each other who are involved in that group, they don't meet face to face, just that replies of all the members of to the questionnaire are summarized and feedback to them are sent for review. They are asked to make decision again in view of the additional information, and it is proceeded until unless you get the decision, you get the best solution of the problem, it will be repeated again and again. Next is nominal group technique. It is a technique where goals are set and the problems are identified before the group. The members independently work upon the problem and note down their ideas without any discussion thereon. So here problem is discussed with a group of members, and they are you can say they are allowed to take the decision, they are allowed to evaluate the problem and make their decision, and they have to write down their you can say their ideas, their you can say solution of the problem, but they are not allowed to discuss with each other. Thereafter, these ideas are collected and discussed by the group for clarity and evaluation. Next is dialectic decision making. Some face-to-face decision-taking groups converge too quickly on one alternative while overlooking others. Their incomplete evaluation of options may reflect either the participants' dislikes of meetings or their lack of willingness to confront tough issues. So what you have to do is, whenever you are going to involve the group of member in some sort of decision making, so if you are involving them in a large group, so then in that situation it will be quite difficult for you to analyze each and every decision, and it will be also difficult to maintain that group, because now everyone speaks. If there is a group of 3 to 6 people, then you can handle them easily. Otherwise, if it is more than 10 people are there in the group, then it will be quite difficult. आप बस उन्हें चुप ही कराते रहेंगे, या फिर आप बस उन्हें को मतलब अपनी जो पर्टिकुलर इशू है उस पर बार बार फोकस दिलाते रहोगे, एंड दे विल बी कई बार ऐसा नोटिस हुआ है कि वो अपने ही किसी डिस्कशन में इतना इन्वॉल्व हो जाते हैं कि वो अपना जो मेन सिचुएशन होता है, जो मेन डिसीजन होता है, उसको लैक करते हैं. So this is something you can say dialectic में अगर if you are dividing the group into a small numbers, then only it will be useful, otherwise it will be quite hectic to manage the those groups and to overcome with the particular problem. Next is brainstorming. A particular situation is given to each member of the group, and they are allowed to analyze that particular situation, and they have to evaluate that decision, that particular situation. Then on the basis of their evaluation they have to give their judgment on the in terms of their solution. So brainstorming is something related to the brain, where you are using your brain, critically using your brain to analyze the particular situation and to overcome that particular situation and to make a decision regarding it. Next is fishbowl technique. Again, in a fishbowl technique, it covers the demerits of dialectic decision methods. Here, as we discussed, that it will be quite difficult to manage a large number of group when there are more number of members are there in a group, and you are allowing them to take the decision and you are allowing them to discuss in a group. So it will be quite difficult because many times आपने सुना होगा कि क्लास में बच्चे इतने ज़्यादा होते हैं तो क्या होता है कि शोर भी ज़्यादा होता है। कई बार टीचर फ्रस्ट्रेट होके भी बोलती है कि क्या सब्जी मार्केट बनाया हुआ है। So same like that, when you are having a lot of people in a group and all of them are speaking, all of them are free to speak, free to express their ideas, so what will happen, nobody would like to keep quiet in that situation. They will feel कि हम क्यों चुप रहें, सामने वाला भी तो चुप हो सकता है। We want to express our feelings, we want to express our opinions. So for that, it is very important, if you are going to divide that particular group in a small number of units, if you are dividing the large group numbers into 3 or 6 members of people only, where they can where you can easily have a control on those people, and you can easily understand what exactly their point of view is all about. So it is regarding a it is related to your fishbowl technique, which has covered the your demerits of the dialectic decision methods. So students, that's it for today's lecture. And here are the questions based on today's lecture, and these questions has been already asked in your university exams. So have a look on these. Explain the process of decision making. What are the various types of decisions? Conceptualize Delphi technique. So you have to solve both of these questions and practice as more as questions you can practice from these lectures. Thank you so much for your time. Stay tuned for more videos.